This is Yohhamgambal. We're back playing Digital Devil Saga, Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga. Last time, we just went through the sewers and we beat Lupa, the tribe, the leader of the wolves. We weren't planning to fight him, but he was beating a whole bunch of brutes for us, and he unfortunately lost his way, and we had to take him down. And Gale learned a very important lesson about honor. So now we're just going after Varen, the last tribe leader.
Today we all came here to the beach.
Oh, come on, that was boring. Spice it up a little. Like this. Hey there, this is Sarah. The ocean makes me feel so free. Like that, you know?
Stop messing around, you guys.
Idiot, you're blocking me. Get your damn mop head out of the way. Oh, you want a piece of me? Come on. Oh, dumb bastard. Let's go, come on, guy. Come on.
Stop acting like children. Guys, we're still recording. Hey, come join the rest of us. Hello. Today we all... Hello. Today we all came here to the beach. Hello.
Very interesting. That was Sarah's voice, and we could hear Heat, Argilla, and Celio. But there is no Surf. Of course, we have no idea what he sounds like. And we also didn't hear Gale. Very interesting. And, okay, so I cut out right there, just so you know, because I did a bunch of off-screen grinding. As you can see, they're level 50. That's like 10 levels higher than they were before. Yeah, so I did a bunch of grinding because we're getting to the point where I'm going to need to be high level to beat one of the secret bosses, and then after that, well, because I'm going to be using another file I have to defeat some of the other secret bosses, because you have to be really high leveled, and I don't want to do the grinding again. I know, I'm being really lazy. I've already done the grinding, so I'm just going to, you know, it's anything crazy, but, you know, so anyways, to get through this place, though, you need to activate these blue rings with these cubes, and they'll make the room change, and then you can go into them. I get a little lost, but not too much. For some reason, this place gets me kind of confused. But yeah, though, so yeah, the party, one thing you probably noticed is Surf has the fire ability right now, one of the better fire moves, and I'm trying to get him to learn fire resist. I think I mentioned it in the last part, but this is where you'll actually see it. But yeah, though, there was no, in that video, we heard Sarah, Celio, Heat, and Argilla, but again, no Gale and no Surf, which is very interesting. And for some reason, I'm standing here twaddling my thumbs. And so the last leader we need to defeat is the leader of the of the brutes, which is Varen. And Varen's very interesting because although we haven't seen a lot of him, he's made a very distinct impression on us. So anyways, here we have two new enemies. We have the enemies that are yellow. Those are Rajus, and which means thunder animal. They're from Japanese mythology. They're made of lightning and can either appear as a cat, fox, weasel, sometimes a white wolf, sometimes a blue wolf, but usually they're an animal wrapped around in lightning. And interesting enough, they're normally very calm, but they become agitated during thunderstorms. They absorb electricity, they void death, but they're weak to force. And they're not too dangerous, but yeah. And then the enemy next to him, the giant elephant, is Grima. Let me see if I got this right. Grim Ihakala. And it's from, what did I write here? Surlan Khan mythos. And one of the interesting things about this creature is that he tried to tempt Buddha to prevent him from his enlightenment, which is kind of an interesting little fact. They don't really have any weaknesses or resistances, but they do void, expel, and elements. And they're actually pretty annoying because they have a lot of instant death magic, so you gotta be careful. But yeah, like I mentioned, though, Varen's very interesting because when the first time we go to the temple, remember in the very, second part, we go to the temple, and there's all the leaders. Varen, though, immediately gains emotion. His eyes turn blue the second he sees Surf. So from just that connection alone, we know that he has a very deep connection with Surf that made him instantly realize something, or made him grow emotions. So that's really important to know, and that'll really be fleshed out later in this part. The enemies we're fighting now are called Perskis. They're interesting enough. They're flying magical elephants, and they kind of serve as they serve as steeds for the god Indra, and they also cause rain to fall after droughts. That's interesting. But they reflect force and expel, and they're weak to electricity. So yeah, they also have a habit of healing and using power charge a lot. So they're actually kind of annoying. Yeah, though Varen's a pretty interesting character though. From the little we know about him, he at least. And even when he was talking to bats, though, if you remember, when he was looking out to the when they were going to go try and get Sarah after the ambush we were setting for them in the ship, if you remember, he kept telling bats that his name was not Varen, but that he is a commander. So there's something going on there. He knows a lot more than we know at this point in time. So he seems to be very knowledgeable about what's going on. And the fact that he would call himself a commander instead of what his name is, Varen, is interesting too. Almost as if he's had a past life to some sorts. Anyways, though, just collecting items. And anyways, and this treasure chest is actually Titania. And Titanias are just a fairy queen. And they're actually from William Shakespeare's story, Midsummer Night Dream. And her husband is actually Orberian. He's actually the king of the fairies. But they avoid fire, ice, elect, force. They resist earth, and they're weak to ailments. They're actually pretty annoying, but they're very useful because in one of the sewers later in the game, there's a hallway where you fight pretty much nothing but these things. And they give a lot of experience, and they also give a lot of money. And also have a chance to drop vitality noises, if I remember correctly. So they're really good for grinding in the late end game. Kind of the only thing you can use to grind, because they're like the best thing for grinding. Even though they're the best thing for grinding, they still take a long time. But they're by far the best. Yeah. So yeah, though, this place isn't actually too hard because I'm a pretty good level. And there is kind of like a basement floor here, but I kind of skipped that because if I remember correctly, there is a secret boss there that we can't deal with yet, so I don't go that way. Plus, I kind of didn't want to deal with it. I know I was being a little lazy, but there's really nothing down there except for a couple of items, and I didn't really want to deal with it, honestly. I know, really bad. Anyways, the next enemies we have here are High Pixies. They're basically just an upgrade to the regular Pixies we face. They're a leader of the younger fairies. And they obtain their rank from skill, from having a good skill, and their loyalty shown to their queen. But they're still pretty mischievous, though. But you know, they absorb electricity, they void, expel, and death, and they resist earth. But they're just basically just an upgrade to the pixies we've already seen. Except though they can't use almighty magic like regular pixie can, which is very interesting. Yeah, though, interesting. But yeah, though. I'm very excited because the story now is finally starting to kind of come into play a bit. We're actually, especially after this part, we're going to learn a lot. And there's a painting of a beach. Again, we just heard about the beach from that weird video thing. That is important for the second game. I wish I could talk about the second game, but I can't. I really just want to LP the second game right after this, but I don't know. Might not be the best idea. You know, might, RPG overload, you know what I mean? But yeah, though. So what's interesting about this place though is that there's like 3 mini bosses you have to fight before you can actually fight Varen. And these mini bosses can actually be pretty well, 2 of them can be. One of them's not that hard at all, but 2 of them can actually be very difficult. And you can tell you're getting near a mini boss when you find a save. Oh, and here we have another enemy. Here we have Queen Mab, which is kind of the upgrade to the Pixie, to the high Pixie. So this is Queen Mab, also known as Mab, Mebd, or Meave, and she's famous for having a capricious nature and having many lovers. And she likes to wage war to continue her glory. Interesting enough, the one enemy we fought a long time ago, Chuchulian, that one guy who was fed a dog by a woman after saying he will never eat a dog, he will never eat a dog, and he will never refuse a gift from a woman. He has a habit of slaying a lot of her pets, warriors, and handmaidens. I don't know why, but apparently he likes to do that. But she reflects earth, death, resists fire, ice, elect, and force. And anyways, here is kind of our first mini boss. And these guys can actually... Ooh, you see what they said there? Something about getting the hell out of here. Very interesting. These guys can actually be kind of annoying, and these are called the Nighoggers, and these are from Norse mythology, and they basically it's a creature that lives underneath the world tree Yggdrasil, and and when I believe when it finally gets out from under the tree, that is a signal that Ragnarok is here, and it's the end of all times. And Ragnarok is basically, from my understanding, just kind of the end of the world in Norse mythology, but they absorb ice. They void elements, death, and expel. Now, this fight is really kind of hard. This fight can be tricky because, as you can see, there's a lot of them. But you really want to be careful about the middle one because he will actually start eating the smaller ones. And when he does that, he gets bigger, and he gets more abilities, and he gets stronger. So right now, they're not eating. Right now, the middle one isn't eating, but he... Oh, see, there he goes. Yeah, so as he gets bigger. Thankfully, I'm able to kill him before he actually eats all of them. So you really want spells, your strongest multi-hitting spells, or you just want to get rid of them. As you can see, though, Heat and Surf are really good here because I've taught Surf, and even Gale, too. As you can see, he's doing 400 damage with the wind. So yeah, I think he eats one more, and then that's about it. Surf, as you can see, is doing a crap ton of damage with his magic. Heat is doing a crap ton of damage with his physical attacks because he has power charge, which is really useful. And Gale is doing quite a bit of damage with his wind. Not with this wind. I mean, 185 is pretty good, but not enough to kill him, as you can see. This is as big as he gets, though. I think he needs to eat one more to be at full power, but I thankfully don't let him get to that point. Because, like I said, he actually can become very dangerous. So yeah, just keep focusing on killing the little ones and do whatever damage you can to the big one. He will always do rage so that he can get another turn and call for reinforcements. I like their little arms. They're funny. But yeah, though. It's kind of creepy, though, because he's eating his comrades when you think about it. That's really creepy. Yeah, you definitely want to get Heat to learn Power Charge. As you can see, it is very, very good. And Gale's doing a lot because... Yeah, I gave him the best wind magic, so it's really nice. I like how he wiggles his arms. He wiggles. And his teeth. He's got one hell of an overbite. They can heal their leader, but they don't heal that much, thankfully. And yeah, the main reason why I taught the fire ability is because, like I said before, these guys absorb fire. I mean, I'm sorry, they absorb ice. So obviously, and I did it in the beginning of the match too, stupidly. I forgot that they absorb ice. But again, though, if you prevent him from eating his buddies, he's not that hard at all. He won't get an attack off. He'll just keep spending a turn trying to bring his buddies back. And I just decided not to attack him with the fire because he can kill him with a Chi Blast once he's power charged. And as you can see, he's done. Really easy. Pretty simple. These bosses, though, like I said, can actually be pretty difficult if you don't know how to deal with them. The next, I think it's the next one. Is it the next one? No. The next one's actually the next one can be very difficult if you don't know how to deal with it. But once you know the trick, it's pretty easy. So, yep, still no Varen, though. Gotta find him. Where is that Varen, buddy? I like these hallways, though. They're very cool looking. And I think I go... No, I guess I leave it. I think that's a secret boss behind there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a secret boss behind it. I gotta look at my notes because I haven't gotten to the point where I'm fighting the secret boss. I'm fighting... I already fought... In the next part, you'll see we are going to fight 2 of the secret bosses. But those are some of the more easier secret bosses. We haven't gotten to the harder ones yet. They're called the 4 Guardians. And I don't think those are the ones yet. The 4 Guardians, to make them appear, you have to get, like, right to the end of the game. Like, right before you go to the final door, you have to leave. So it's actually kind of annoying. But we could actually activate that, like, right now. After we beat Varen. Because after them, we should be able to go. And as you can see, I'm teaching Celio Buffalo because I want him to learn Ice Void. Because for the next fight, it's useful to have... I'll talk about it when we get there, but it's useful to have a void of an element that you're going to use for the main fight. For the main fight. And it's really easy once you know the trick. And this place, though, is really not that hard. This is probably going to be one of the more shorter episodes, I guess. I mean, it's going to be like 45 minutes. That's pretty short for this, though, honestly. I think, though, these really work out having longer parts, like I mentioned in the last part, because this is, what, part 8? And I'm more than halfway done with the game, which I think is really impressive, because with an RPG that, like, this RPG is not short either. Each part is an hour long. So, excuse me, a lot of the... I just cut out so much of the fluff, which I think really helps out. And anyways, I go to the wrong room here because I'm a moron. So I go to the room up here, and that's not the way you want to go. You don't want to go that way. But Celio learned Ice Spirit because, well, it's going to take no time at all. And anyways, I cut out coming back to this room because it will just loop you around. So, you didn't need to see it. It just saved us like a minute or two, so I think that's nice. And anyways, this is the room you need to go to. You need to head up, and you need to go up the stairs. And you need to find another boss. Mini-boss. Not that hard. Yeah, though, it's, I'm excited, though, because, we're really getting to the point where the story... It's not going to make 100% sense, obviously, because we still haven't played the second game yet, and we're not at the end of the game yet. But a lot is explained, and it does kind of give you, if you can put the pieces together, you can kind of maybe get an idea about what is going on in this world. So here's a save point, which means we are close to another boss. Sorry, I'm like holding back a burp. Sorry if I sound a little weird. Oh, and it looks like a new enemy. Oh, never mind. That wasn't a new enemy. I thought it was for some reason. Weird. Anyways, oh, here we go. Just gotta heal up. This fight, though, is really easy. Once you know the trick, it is super. I mean, that's for really all these mini-boss fights. For these mini-boss fights, though, they're pretty... The next mini-boss in particular gave me a shit ton of trouble, but once I knew how to do it, easy. I am pretty ballsy. Anyways, here we have to fight Isis. Ooh. Okay, Isis is from is a deity that's worshipped mainly in Egypt, but it is also seen in Greek and Roman as well. She is seen as the ideal mother and wife, patron of nature and magic, friend of slaves, sinners, artisans, downtrodden, and to the rich and to wealthy and rich people as well. Reflects physical, voids elements, death, and expel. So with this fight, though, she will continually call for help. But what you want to do is the last element spell that you use on her, she will hit you with the more powerful version of that. So if I use Bufadine, for example, she will hit me with a Bufadine spell. So if you just have, and it's the last spell that you hit her with. So you could actually hit her with like fire and then hit her with ice, as long as it's the last spell that you'll use an element of. So yeah, really easy though. And as you can see, the Void Ice is really coming in handy here, and I think I eventually figure out, like right now I'm just powering up his magic so he can take them out really quickly, and then I eventually start using my Earth magic on them too, because they don't resist any magic, they don't resist any of the magic towers. And so yeah, you gotta be careful though, because they actually can do a lot of damage, but as long as you have the Void, they can't do shit to you. They're really easy. And limits reach, so as you can see, we're going to do a lot of damage. Yeah, we're doing a lot. But, again, not an issue. I think she can only call for 2 extra recruits, and then that's it. So there can only be 3 at one time. And as you can see, I have the stronger Earth spell on her, finally. The strongest Earth spell. So yeah, look, I just did 861 damage. That's insane. And you get a lot of money for that, too. But there you go, another easy fight. And I start putting a lot of it into luck and agility. Luck is actually pretty nice. And with that, that's the second boss fight. Second mini-boss done. Yep, easy peasy. And with that, we have to head towards the last one. And the last one actually can be tricky if you don't know what to do, but since I do, it's not going to be an issue. And that's going to be a phrase I'm going to keep saying. I've said that for pretty much all the bosses, though. Except for the final secret boss. Even when you know what you're doing, he's still super hard and requires an ungodly amount of luck to beat. And thank goodness I beat him. Apparently, he's one of the hardest RPG boss fights ever. I've seen him in a couple of top 10 lists, so I'm like, oh, cool, I beat him. Yeah, you know, just got some internet cred. No big whoop. I don't know. I'm silly. Anyways. And yeah, now that I beat him, I don't need to keep Void Ice. I can put something better on. I don't remember what I put on him. Oh yeah, I put on Wreck Arm. There you go. I need to get the better version of the healing on him, though. Because I use the gems for healing most of the time, though. Yeah, though, for the next mini-boss, though, you definitely want Heat, and you definitely want Gale. Because he's weak to fire, and he will use instant death spells a lot. What's really cool, though, is his instant death spell connects to his Mythos, which is pretty neat. I love how the game does that. Lots of detail. Alright. From the west side of the mansion. And I think I go through the wrong door again. Yeah, I don't know why I'm going that way. That's not the west side, stupid. That's east. Oh, right. But there's a yellow wall here, and we can get, I think, just a Soma. But that's about it, though. Just a Soma. Which, well, actually, why am I saying just a Soma? Somas are really useful. Those are really good items. And there's a piano. Makes me want to listen to Billy Joel's Piano Man, which is like one of my favorite songs ever. I love Billy Joel's Piano Man song. So good. Drinking a drink they call loneliness, but it's better than drinking alone. My goodness, that poor canvas. Again, what is with all these beaches? It's almost like the game's trying to tell me something about someone's character. And right here, I'm like, I think I'm getting lost because I'm pretty sure I'm going to stand here for like a second because I'm like, where am I going? I forgot where I was going. For some reason, like I said, this place really kind of trips me up, and it's not that difficult of an area. I just, for whatever reason, am getting tripped up. Why did everyone get a better base than me? We lived in the ground, and everyone got a nice castle or a house or whatever. You could really spruce this place up and make it look nice. All right, come on, Yoham. There you go. West side. Good. Good. And then at least we got to head up the stairs after running away from a fight. And come on. There we go. So yeah, though, heading to the last mini boss. There's actually some goodies in these hallways, I think. So that's nice. Yeah, it's nice too because our levels are pretty high level, which is good because we're gonna. I think if I remember correctly, I don't need to do really any more. Well, actually, no, that's not true. Never mind. I was about to say the bosses that are coming in the final dungeon are actually pretty high level. So I was about to say I don't need to do any more grinding, but I actually probably do need to do a little. But thankfully, though, we'll have access to the Titania hallway by then. So, yeah. Grinding becomes super easy. I mean, it's still really hard to get to level 99, but other than that, though. Alright, there we go. And, yep, as you can see, I'm checking, just double checking, making sure, because you definitely want to make sure that you're ready for this fight. Because it will kill you really fast. And then there's only one new enemy after this, which is just the final boss. So anyways, the enemy we have here, the mini-boss, is the Catobil Pass, a legendary creature from Ethiopia. It has the body of a buffalo, head of a hog, it has scales on its back, and it can breathe, its breath can cause petrification, and so can its stare. He reflects electricity, he absorbs earth, voids elements, death expel, but he's weak to fire. And you really want to make sure that you have anti-death or death reflect, because he has an instant kill move that turns every single he can turn you into stone with stone gaze, but he also has another move called like Gate to Hell, I believe, and that turns everybody into stone. So it's very dangerous. And even though what's nice is even though Heat doesn't have as strong magic as Surf, it's still giving us that extra turn, which is really nice. And he's still doing like 300 damage, which is really not shabby at all. So yeah, he didn't even get to show his secret move. Trust me, that fight is actually harder than I made it look. But yeah, though, yeah, his special attack is like called Gate of Hell, and it will hit everybody. If it doesn't turn them into stone, it does a lot of damage, so it's very dangerous. And with that, we gain access to the final portion of this dungeon. Now we just need to go ahead and mess with that white cache cube. And then hopefully we will find Varen. I couldn't believe how easily I beat him though. I got really lucky. And yeah, for probably not the best idea to have Argilla for the next fight, because the boss fight does use a lot of wind. But thankfully I do change that out later during the middle of the fight, I think. But yeah, though. So anyways, we need to go to that white cube, because that will take us to the boss, who can actually be very tricky. It's actually a very hard boss. It requires some luck. Thankfully, my luck was on my side, plus the levels. But he can be a very difficult boss if unprepared. All right, and activate the cube. The cube. Uh-oh. Negative energy. That's kind of sexy. Anyway, I don't know why I said that. Anyways, hopefully I go to the right place. Do I go the right direction? Come on, Yoham, it's up that way. No. Turn around. No, not that way. Yeah, see, if you mess up, then it just shoots. You'll be teleported. Or no, that was the right way, I think. No, I think I did go the right way. Never mind. I don't think there's like anything in any of these rooms. These are nice though. Again, why did my team have to get the shitty cave? I mean, I guess it was okay in the mountains in the base, but still though, this is like a nice castle. They have like, it almost looks like they have electricity here with the lights. They have couches. They got couches. We had like metal couches. No, see, I've already been here because that is already open. So I think I was just going in circles at this point. Or was it? I don't know. See, it's hard to tell which way sometimes you need to go. Yeah, okay. Now just go straight. There we go. Good job, Yoham. So yeah, though. With that, we can finally head off to where Varen is. And they even have a pool. Look at that. I mean, it is rainy, so maybe you wouldn't want to go in it, since it's always raining in the junkyard. But, you know, if you cover it up, that could be fun. That could be a fun thing. I'm sure some of the demons who turn into water monsters would really appreciate, you know, their avatar tuners who turn into water creatures would really like it. Could really help, you know, morale. And look, they even have a library. They had it all, man. They had it all. Everyone had a better place than us. Oh, and there's a level up. Argilla, level 47. Yeah, her magic's actually getting good, too. She has 50. Not nearly as good as our main character with a beautiful 99. But 50 isn't bad. It's not too shabby. Especially since you can't control what their, you know, stats go in. Since you can't allocate their stats. It's not bad. And another picture. Why are all these pictures torn to shreds? My goodness. Oh, hey, that's the castle that we went to save Sarah at. Because remember, they've seen that castle before, despite never actually seeing a castle before. They seem to know a lot of things despite never seeing them, like a boat. They've never seen a ship before, but they knew what it was. The ocean. They knew that the ship was in the ocean, but I don't think there is an ocean in the junkyard. And children. They know what children are despite never seeing a child. And this is the basement of the dungeon, and again, I was being a little lazy and I didn't go down there. There's really just items and a healing fountain you can use. You know, that area where there's just like green lights, but I just didn't want to deal with it. I'm sorry, viewers. I was being lazy. You'll have to forgive me. I know. Shame, Yoham. I was being bad. Forgive me. But I think we'll have to go down there later anyway, so it doesn't matter too much.
Well, nothing upstairs.
It's been a while, sir. Yes, that's the face. The one I couldn't forget even if I wanted to.
Surf!
I don't know you. But I do remember you. How the hell can you follow the man who devoured you?
What are you talking about? I don't know.
You were the first to be devoured. Remember?
And you, I feel sorry for you. How many times must you die for this woman?
What?
Do not underestimate my power. You look hungry. There's plenty to eat here. Devour as much as you like. Tribes, comrades, I'm sick of all that bullshit. I'll make you recall the sins you have forgotten.
Stop it! I won't allow that. How dare you? How dare you try to do this to them? I won't let you hurt my friends!
Huh. You won't allow it? As if you have any right. To hell with you all! I've had enough of this godforsaken dump! I'll kill your precious leader and finally get out of this hellhole!
Well, as you can see, Varen definitely knows everybody except for Gale, and definitely seems to be holding a grudge against Surf, and even feels pity for Argilla and Heat, and definitely seems to hold a lot of contempt too for Sarah. Anyways, as you can see, Varen is invisible. We cannot attack him, and we also cannot detect him, unfortunately. So we can only attack the air at the moment. So yeah, though, this fight can actually be a little tricky. This part isn't particularly tricky. It's more annoying than tricky. Probably not the best idea to have Argilla here because he is a wind user. So anyway, Sarah will give you an idea about where she can sense Varen. It's not the best, but it does kind of give you an idea of where he might be. But unfortunately, though, if you miss, though, you lose 2 turns, so you don't get a whole lot of opportunity. And then he changes his position. But it's just like Lupa said, though, that only through Sarah's power can we possibly defeat him. So yeah, this is what Lupa meant when he said that Varen destroyed his whole tribe. Anyways, though, his creature, though, is called Ravana. Ravan, and is a demon king and the antagonist of Rama, which is actually the 7th avatar of Vishnu. He kind of looks like a squirrel, which is weird. Voids, elements, death, and expel. He's apparently in a lot of stories that involve Rama. Like, he's like an antagonist, like I said, and he's a demon king. So, I don't know much more about him, but apparently he has a very long history with Vishnu and his avatar. I really like the way this monster's design looks, but I even love its second form, though, which it does have, is even better looking. But as you can see, though, this part isn't too hard. He can't do a whole bunch of damage. He kind of does weaker physical damage. And yeah, this is where I switch out Argilla, because again, it's not a good idea to have her because he does a lot of force moves, and she is weak to force. He does also have other elements. Whoa, couldn't even speak. He does have some other elements, but I don't think he uses them nearly as much as he does wind. And in particular, he has a very, very strong wind. So yeah. But first form's really not too dangerous. Just, again, more annoying. Poor Heat. But yeah, though, apparently, though, I mean, what Varen says is pretty interesting. How many times must you die for this girl? And then again, remember what he said to Argilla? He said something very interesting about Argilla, where he was talking about how, she was devoured.
Do not underestimate me. I will see you mutilated and broken. Die at the hands of Colonel Beck!
The transformation of his second form is really freaking cool. I really like it. Anyways, his second form is actually very dangerous because he has a very unique ability, which causes a very unique status ailment that you cannot heal. And I'll talk about it when he does it. Anyways, he loves to use force moves, a very powerful force move too. He also resists physical, so that's why I'm having Heat just use magic. So he has an ability called Hunger Wave, and if you remember, he was able to make Heat go hungry in the cutscene. He can basically make you go hungry here too. And when that happens, you will sometimes attack your comrades, I believe, and you just won't do anything, and you take damage too. And the only way to heal it is by having Sarah heal you. But the thing is, though, Sarah will randomly choose one of the characters who has been affected by Hunger Wave, and you don't get to choose, and it's only once per turn. And that can be very dangerous because if he chooses an important party member, it can, or if all of them get, I love his attack. He just like kind of touches you. If all of them get, hunger, if they get hungry, then you can't do anything, and you only get like one character use, which is very annoying. I really love his second form, though. It's very cool. Force Drain is super useful here because his wind attack hits everybody, and it can heal like 100 to 200 HP, which is really good. Thankfully, though, I get really lucky with the Hunger Wave. The Hunger Wave is really kind of the biggest threat in this fight, as he puts his hands on his hips. Yeah, his Infinite Wind can be very dangerous, but yeah, heals a lot. Actually, heals Heat a ton, probably because he has the weakest magical defense. And then doesn't do tons of damage to Surf because he has so much magical defense. And I think Gale doesn't resist. I don't think they resist anything in their current state, but I don't think it takes a lot of damage from him. Anyways, yeah. So he does have Bufadine too, which can be a little dangerous. But yeah, he's not too bad. But the Hunger Wave though is really where it's annoying. Oh shoot! See, as you can see, thankfully though, I did have an Absorb Force, but yeah, though, as you can see, you really have no choice about who she heals. You would think she would heal Surf first. I think she also does the, I think when you first saw her heal Surf, when she looked back at him, I think she only does that for him the first time. I don't think she does that with any other character. I'm probably wrong. Anyways, it's good to have items like Wind Wall because you don't know when he's going to use them. You really just want to avoid that Infinite Wind because it is very strong. It's a very dangerous move. And there we go. Thank you. But yeah, though, if you just keep pelting with your magic, I'm doing almost 400 damage. He goes down pretty quickly. It's just that the Hunger Wave can actually kind of make things difficult. Yeah, see, there you go. And eventually you'll get all healed up as long as he doesn't keep using it. Like how Gale's mouth is kind of open and he's just kind of like shaking his head. He's having a hard day. Blast him with some magic. I really love his second form though. I love how he transforms into it, and I love his physical attack. He kind of just pokes you with a spiky spike. He's just like, it's like he can't move very well because he's inside of like a giant carcass of meat. I like to pretend like he's in a giant meat husk carcass thing, so that's why he's having trouble moving. That's why he moves so slow, because he's just surrounded by, he's just covered in like a huge layer of heavy meat that he's not really used to. But yeah, though, loses his invisibility for some extra power. But he's almost dead now, though. The fight's pretty much almost over. I think we only have about a minute. Yeah, as you can see, he's already slumped over. Yeah. This fight, actually, I did beat on my first time when I was playing through the game, but it was very, very close. It was very hard. I got very, very lucky. But this time, though, I came pretty prepared, and, I'm at a good level. I don't think I'm over level, but I might be. And there we go. He's done. Looks like he has freckles on his chest, and damn, he like really hit that floor. And we got a Soma. Very good. And almost have Fire God mastered, which is very nice. And what do I put it in? Yeah, spreading them out a little bit. Oh, look, he got a little extra magic. Good for him.
Varen, what did you mean I was devoured?
Don't call me by that name. I am a colonel. I am Colonel Beck.
You seem to know about Surf. Why is it that you know about everyone except me?
You're all fools. You, and you too. Have you forgotten how that girl cast us into this hell? Let me remind you then. You and I, we are all humans who died. In the same nirvana you're all desperate to reach.
That can't be. We died?
That girl will destroy the world. She is truly a devil.
Very interesting. So Colonel Beck gave us some juicy little information there that the place we were trying to reach, Nirvana, we were all once there, but we died and now are in the junkyard. So this junkyard is somewhere different than Nirvana, which Nirvana seems to be the place we originate from. So what does that mean then? Well, I don't know. Well, I do know, but I'm not going to tell you.
You? Hey, wait. I knew that didn't make sense. That was the first cat that I ever saw. So then how did I know what it was?
That is not all. We also know of children and parents. And yet, none of these things exist here in the junkyard.
So then we remember these things from Nirvana? We actually died before and were sent to the junkyard? Now we're like this? We devour each other. Janana, Lupa, so many people died. And you think Sarah's behind all this? How the hell could she be?
I don't know. You know I ain't that smart.
Huh?
Exactly. Knowing the truth wouldn't change anything. Who cares about this stupid world? So what if we died? Forget all that crap. Look at what all of us have become.
We're comrades.
Then there's nothing to debate. Well, I mean that, you can't be a comrade alone. That's ridiculous.
Comments?
Scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 3. But all in all, I'd have to say that it's still pretty good for a hot-headed jerk, ja?
Maybe if you spoke up a bit more. What the?
Derain just stopped.
The war is over, and the gates of Nirvana have opened. Sarah will be there.
Oh boy, a lot happened there. Oh, by the way, that choice we had to make, that is important for the second game. So if you want a special thing that happened, choose, it doesn't matter. Yeah, though, so it seemed like during that cutscene, Sarah might have regained her memory and was sad because she knows exactly what's happening, and it's probably not a good thing. So, yeah, I guess this is Sarah's house. So, yep, but it seems like she will be at the tower waiting for us. Now we are able to go and try and reach Nirvana, the place we once were, but were then cast aside from. But yeah, though, but there's a couple things I think I want to do before then, and definitely, because in the next part, I want to go take on the couple, we can take on, I think, at least 2 secret bosses right now, possibly 3, in the next part. So yeah, we got some stuff we need to do, but I'm going to end the video here, and we're going to go ahead and take on some secret bosses, and then we're going to head to the tower in the next part to see what's happening with Sarah. So this has been Yohhamgambal. Thanks for watching. See you next time as we continue to play Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga. Okay, bye then.